Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me today for this week's Pick a Card Tarot reading. Okay, so it's very simple. I'll just explain. Just pick a number between 1 and 5 and I'll do a psychic tarot interpretation for the week for you. Pick your number now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First number in your mind. Okay, don't think about it. You can have more than one number. If you have 5 numbers, that might be a very interesting week. Okay, if you're new, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, let's go to the board and see what these cards have to say this week. All right, so we're going with card number 1. I like to have a little vision before I turn the card over. Okay, let's go with, I did see that one. Okay, so we're going to go with that one on top. Closing my eyes now. What do I see? The sun's just come out really brightly. Okay, closing my eyes now. What have I got in front of me? All right, I'm in a vehicle traveling along. The windscreen wipers going back and forward, and that's because there's a bit of rain. But it's just light rain, so there's no danger or any sort of problem like that. I feel like it's actually been much worse and things are improving. I also feel this is for the world in general. I think we've come through largely in the Western countries. We've come through the worst of what we have to go through. Sadly, in other countries, this is not the case. It is still very bad, and let's send all our prayers and thoughts to India and the surrounding countries because COVID is really very dire in these areas. All right, if you've picked card number 1, we've got the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, this is often about your finances. And it could be that you've planted some seeds, but they haven't yet germinated. Okay, so there's a time of waiting, and you could be feeling frustrated about money. You could be working very hard, maybe have some brilliant ideas, but they just haven't happened yet. But look, like plants, they're going to grow at their own rate, and it takes a bit to get things going. If you're at this decision point of will I continue or will I give it away altogether, maybe look at how you started. Did it start well and then sort of go off a bit, or was it problems all the way? If it was problems all the way, I would reconsider my idea, because it's just my personal belief. I'm not saying this psychically, but just my experience, and I'll have a look in a moment for you. But just my experience is if you start off on the wrong foot, or there's bad foundations, it's very, very difficult to recover, and so you're better off perhaps giving the whole idea away. But if it's just recently or since COVID times that there's been difficulties, maybe you can tweak. Now, I'll just ask Spirit about the idea of starting off on bad foundations. What's the energy there? I see a waterfall. It's like a precipice. It's like a point of no return. If you start on bad foundations, you go over the waterfall, and it's very difficult to recover. And perhaps, it'll never be quite the same as what it was before. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. So that's card number 1. Card number 2, sorry, the sun I might just put that up there like that so you can see it more easily. The sun has its own agenda, of course. All right, card number 2. Let's see what comes out. We'll go with that one. Closing my eyes now. I'm sort of got my eyes closed, but the sun, it's like a magnet. It's sort of pulling me in, so it's like it wants to communicate something to me. So I'm just going to go with the sun idea at the moment, and it's the source of all light. It's brilliant. It feeds us. It nourishes us. Without the sun, we wouldn't even be here. It brings insight. It brings nurturing, sustenance, food. And so I think if you're having difficulties in life, perhaps imagine a small sun that you place inside your solar plexus, and it's always radiating heat and love and these nurturing qualities to you. Do that now. The card that comes up, no wonder I'm drawn. These are the sunflowers that represent the sun. Okay, so that's why I can't get away from it. The King of Wands is very, very inspirational and motivational this week. If you've picked card number 2, there's a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity for you, and you can take action. The sunflowers represent the sun, everything I just said, the nurturing, the kindness, security, comfort, all of that. And this king is seated on a wooden throne on the ground, with his feet on the ground, with an iguana at his feet, okay, as you do. Now, an iguana is about instincts, okay, listening to your instincts, and being on the ground, both feet on the ground, with the wooden throne suggests that there's an earthly quality to this. So this is about bringing your inspirations and motivation down to earth. Make it real. And the king is the master of all he surveys. Likewise with the queen, of course, in a feminine way. This is in a masculine way. So this means putting your motivation and your inspiration into practicality and thinking about it, okay, even though it's not related to swords directly. Because it is practical, you have to research and think, okay. Gold around his throat here because he speaks at a very high vibration. Baseball bat for action, again with the red. Okay, this is fabulous if you want to do things this week, if you've picked card number 2. Card number 3, let's go with that and see what we can come up with. Card number 3. Okay, closing my eyes now. A little red car is in front of me, all about action, motivation as well. Okay, but this has got the focus on moving forward, getting things done, and perhaps moving your body. Cards can represent your body, not just how you get around in the world physically, but your body carries you around in the world. So perhaps there's exercise or some movement of your physical body is called for this week. I'm in a sort of tunnel and I'm going down. Okay, often this does mean, when I go down, it does mean going down into the physical body. You've got the chance this week to release some trapped energies that may have, be something to do with the past, and they can come up and your body will be feeling better for it. The card that comes up is the World card. This is fabulous because the world is your oyster. Again, see, she's got a foot on the planet there. The earth is our body. And so this is being in touch with what's going on in the physical body. The scepter denotes royalty. So it is a little bit similar to this, but it's in the feminine sense. Gold wrapped in a very high vibration, spirit helping you raise your vibration and increase your consciousness. Okay, so just a beautiful card. You can make things real and physical this week if you pick card number 3. Card number 4, let's go with that. Oh, and this one just jumps out. Okay, it's the Six of Swords. Okay, this is moving away from an emotional situation that's been difficult. Perhaps some stress has been there. And you'll notice it's night with the moon there up in the corner, and that's like you're moving, things are changing in your life, but perhaps you don't know exactly where you're going because it's still night time. But you know what happens? The sun comes up, and then you have insight and awareness as to your direction in life. So if you pick card number 4, trust the process. Your soul knows what's going on. Your soul is in control. And this also involves your thinking, okay? Maybe keep a diary and write things down because your soul will act through your writing as well and tell you the messages you need to know, okay? Blue and green in there as well, my 2 favourite colours together. The throat, creativity, expression, self-expression, and the growth and opportunity around that. Okay, you'll notice here that even though it's night, This boat is on a still sea. There's no sort of tumultuous waves or anything like that. There's this peace and tranquility as you move away from an emotional situation. All right, let's go with card number 5. Card number 5. Oh, there we go. All right, I'll just read the top one, which is the King of Swords. This is a master of analytics, logic, rationality. It has its place. You don't want to go to the supermarket and not know how much money you've got if you can afford to buy your groceries, for example. You need to think about how much money you can spend on groceries and those sorts of questions. Perhaps some people do. It's all about logic. It has its place, but the issue becomes here, don't overdo it. We don't want to be thinking too much because really thinking 24/7 is not healthy, okay? Thinking is a wonderful gift, the gift of analysis and classification, and you can dissect ideas and come up with a solution to a problem in your mind. But in solving a problem, that's not the only way you can solve a problem, and indeed you should involve your feelings and spirit and take action as well. So this only becomes a difficult card when you rely on this by itself, okay? The sword of truth is the ability to cut through things and dissect and come up with the answer. You'll notice he's seated on a diamond with a diamond at the back. So that's all about clarity, and diamonds are caused by heat and pressure, being under stress, okay? So I don't see it as a negative card in balance with everything else. Sometimes we attract people like this into our lives. This can be people who are very incisive thinkers. It could be somebody like a lawyer or perhaps an accountant. And they rely very heavily on this gift that they have. But as I said before, we want to put everything through a human heart so we don't purely rely on it. Okay, it's good in some kinds of jobs. If you're a spy, for example, you might really need that ability. All right, so 7 of Pentacles, King of Wands, the World, 6 of Swords and King of Swords. Okay, so it's not monumental. It's not a monumental week this week. There's only one major arcana. But, yeah, depending on the card that you've picked, that's what's likely to play out. Okay, so I'm just going to close my eyes. It's really strange to have that. That's never happened before where I've had that shade across like that, but there you go. All right, so I'll just close my eyes and see if there's anything else to tell you. For this week, May 3, 2021. Okay, I see I see the cards down on the table in spirit, but they've all got hearts on them, okay? And big black hearts. And so black could be like being in credit, like when you read a bank statement, you've got black and red sometimes. Some people do. And black can be like being in credit, but it can also be meaning being closed off, closing your heart, and sometimes it might be necessary to do that if you've had a difficult time or some sort of wounding or abuse perhaps, which sadly happens all too often, especially to women. And so, it's like a plant. They've done scientific experiments now, and you may have heard of I think it's Kirlian photography, where they burn the edge of the leaf and the plant shrinks away from the source of the pain. And we do that too. We shrink away from whatever's hurting us, and that's a natural response. So, there should be no judgment about closing your heart off when you need to, okay? Just remember to open it up again, because it's that opening that allows us to live more fully, okay? So if your heart is closed off, try some meditation this week in opening up your heart, and just say, no matter what's happened to me, say to the universe, I am willing to open my heart this week. Okay, so that's it, everyone. I hope you find this a little bit useful. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell right now. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you all again soon. Okay, thanks again. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.